Well, as we say every year, that did not exactly go according to plan.
Oh, wow. I'll fix that.
Yeah, though keeping in with my initial plan, Stefan did not technically lose, so I did keep that goal in mind. We didn't win, but it still went relatively well, I suppose. Most of our plans worked, they just didn't work very well. And I honestly really didn't have many models that really stood out, since most either died or just weren't nearly as effective as I thought they would be, such as the Hierophant, who missed virtually all of his shooting, Zoanthropes, and a myriad of others. The one unit that did actually do fairly well was the Eye of the Hive brood, who I usually hide in the back, and this time had them outflank and jump into combat in turn 1, and they did quite well for themselves and were still alive by the end, so I do get an extra strategic asset next year, and they also did help hold our vital objective, which we made on their side because we figured they wouldn't see that coming. So between that and outflank, I would say that those assets were well spent.
I'm just happy with the reaction I got when I brought the Phantom out. I'm happy. I didn't lose, so I guess a plus. I think the best unit I had to have had would have been the Spirit Host of the Lost, the 40 Wraith Guard and 4 Wraith Lords with the Wraith Seer. The Phantom Titan did a fantastic job the first turn it came in. It definitely blew stuff up, and then it did a spectacular job of making sure that Lord of Change did absolutely screw all for the rest of the game, which a plus in my books. I know it's a plus in their books as well, because the Phantom Titan didn't get to do anything as well, which if it did have the chance, you know, that was reinforcements well spent. No. Beyond that, not a whole hell of a lot.
So yeah, overall, not incredibly bad on our part.
I think flank mark should be illegal next year.
Yes. Well, that totally did not go according to plan because, as you'll recall from seeing our original intro, our battle plan was to construct a defensive line and just try and hold the line as long as possible. Considering that our battle line completely fragmented and disappeared on the first turn, we had to be adaptable, I would say.
To that effect, I think we adapted very well.
Very well.
To a number of circumstances that we didn't expect. We did not expect flank march. We certainly did not expect that thing back there to the Phantom Titan to show up. That was not in the cards at all. So anyways, given the circumstances, we have done fairly well for ourselves. Mm-hmm. We held the line to a degree, and
well,
okay,
the line where the line had to be moved. Mm-hmm. And once it was moved, we held the new line.
It's a better line.
Yeah. Better line?
In that,
so dumb.
By the line, we mean pretty much the exact 3-inch line around the 2 objectives we ended up taking. Beyond that, yeah, we've basically whittled down to nothing, and that's all.
I would just like to point that actually, as this is the battle for the Uman-Ra's homeworld, it is somewhat fitting that they went down almost to the last man. The only Chaos Space Marine units that are left on the board is a single immobilized Rhino with no weapons, and the Chaos Sorcerers are the Mad on the backfield, the lone survivor of the battle. I would have to say, if I were to pick the most valuable unit in my army, well, runner-up would certainly be the Demon Lord of Tzeentch there. He successfully held up the Phantom Titan for 3 turns. That could have been very bad for us if it had been allowed to shoot with impunity. That would have been very different. We're able to take each other both down to 4 structure points / wounds, so that was engaging. I was hoping for a little more in the way of an explosion in that combat, one way or the other, but you know what? I'll take what I can get. The Demon Lord also was able to successfully negate one thing that Brenden and I were very worried about, which was Bjorn the Fell-Handed, which was back there. I was worried that he was going to be destroyed either by the Demon Lord attacking him or caught up in some kind of an explosion, turning into an objective which could then be claimed, but we got the best possible result where we destroyed his close combat weapon and immobilized him, essentially leaving him out of the game. If I were to pick the most valuable unit in my army, it would be this fellow, this humble Chaos Terminator with the Heavy Flamer, who was successfully able to take the final structure point off the Revenant Titan, causing an apocalyptic explosion, which took out considerable amounts of everything, really. Took out several gargoyles, which we were worried about, took out several of my Terminators, several Eldar vehicles, It was probably, I think, the most exciting point of the game. The most cinematic point for me was probably the desperate struggle between Wolflord Ragnos and Abaddon the Despoiler on the bridge, taking each other down with their final breaths.
Likewise, I'm not sure what I would say would be my favorite unit of the game. Most everything that I brought on that I was expecting to do well did not. Of course, my biggest surprise was the 2 Tiger Sharks, but those succeeded in only each taking a single wound off the Hierophant, and then were swiftly shot down by the Pylon. So that did not go according to plan. Likewise, my Eyez Nile nodes were destroyed before the Phantom even appeared, which was the unit which they would have been most useful against. And yeah, my various flyers were kind of shot down, and it was not according to plan. Everything kind of did subpar. So I'm amazed that we did as well as we did.
Par was 3.
Yes.
Yeah, they bogeyed.
I'm happy with the unit I had of guardsmen who managed to fairly well use their assets to whittle down units and hold the line. And even now, the last one was killed by the Swarmlord, but he did alright. The only other unit which I'd say really stood out was, of course, the Stealth Devilfish and accompanying Pathfinders, who managed to take our vital objective and protect a lot of the units in the area due to the stealth field. If not for that, we may have not been able to hold that objective.
It would have been so bad.
Pretty bad.
The line wouldn't even be held.
Yes.
Gone.
That theoretical line we talked about.
Yeah. They wouldn't know about the line, so the line would just languish.
So yeah, that's...
But the line holds! It's a good line. It's red.
You heard it here, folks.
So your Council still your favorite unit?
Well, what more can I say? It was certainly an interesting and unexpected game, which was full of surprises, and I am sure it will be much, much worse when we get crazy enough to try this again. Until then, my gentle travelers, I bid you farewell, and good night. It's not actually night right now.
But it might be.
You don't know. You're watching this. I'm here for you. Just remaining flexible, remaining open-minded. As I've said before, no judgment. Not judging.
Yes. I think the most important thing to remember is that Shaughn's arms are getting very tired right now.
So tired.
And I think that's a noble thing, what he's doing right now.
Putting up the sacrifice for all of us.
Okay.
I think we should maybe wrap it up here.
Probably just bring this to a conclusion.
Just wrap it up.
Yes, bring this to a close.
Close it up.
I would like to hear more about what you exactly did.
Oh god! Speed the mic! I know how to fight back on you.
Okay, that's it. We're done. Cut.
Okay.
No more.
Oh, jeez.